Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another module in the Syndicate program. Today, we're going to be talking about partnering with the right clients. Okay, this is a very important module. I cannot stress this enough because if you are just starting your agency, you're actually in a very good position to start bringing on clients that are actually really easy to collaborate with, and they're not going to make your life absolute hell. Okay, I've had my fair share of nightmare clients. I think a lot of agency owners, if you're in the agency space, it's bound to happen that you're going to probably partner with one client who you maybe think was good and it just turns out to be a bad decision. Okay, so this module is going to teach you how to basically look for those red flags and identify if this potential lead that you're talking to is actually going to be a good client to partner with. Okay, so the module itinerary for today is we're going to be defining audience members properly, what makes a good lead, and what makes a good client. Okay, so let's talk about defining your audience. All right, so the biggest thing that you need to identify is making sure that the way you are calling out these people to your business is accurate. Okay, I see way too many people, and sometimes I do this as well too, but maybe you're talking to other agency owners or you're talking to like myself on a call, whatever it is, and people are asking like, oh, like how many clients you have, right? And people start to include like their leads into like the clients that they work with. Like they misdefine the people that they're actually working with, or they misdefine like their leads in the process, their prospects, their audience, things like that. Okay, so let's just define what these topics mean, or what these words mean, so that you can know how to properly move forward with these people in your pipeline. Okay, so your audience are people in your social network who follow you or know you. These can be online or in-person relationships. A prospect is a person who has interest in working with you. Okay, whether they've booked a call or not, this is a person that is a potential prospect, a potential person that actually wants to work with you. Okay, a lead is someone who has actually booked in a call or discussed details with you about collaborating. Okay, so only after they've booked in a call and you've actually chatted with them, that's someone who has become a lead. A client is someone who is paying for you for your service or your product. Okay, you need to remember that you do not have a client unless you have a signed contract and a paid invoice. Okay, if they haven't signed a contract and they haven't paid an invoice, you don't have a client. Okay, you still have a lead. All right, so what makes a good lead? All right, the lead is qualified to work with you based off of your standards. All right, you will create your own standards based off of what that looks like. But I cannot stress enough that you do not want to be working with businesses who are even struggling with their revenue. All right, every brand struggles with something, and that's okay. But work with cash poor clients just leads to nothing but trouble. All right, if you're working with clients that struggle to make ends meet, or they're constantly complaining to you about like what you're spending on ads because their budget for the month, and they got bills to pay, and like they just don't have enough money in the bank account, and their credit cards are this and that, like they just have like all these money problems, and they almost have like this frugal sort of mindset. These are people that you want to avoid. Okay, these are leads that you want to avoid with your life, because the fact of the matter is these businesses will actually create a lot more stress and headaches for you, because you'll never actually get to the point where you want to start scaling with this client. You'll never get there because their mindset is just so frugal. And the other thing too is like, if you're working with cash poor brands, how do you expect to be a cash rich agency? It's just not going to happen, right? You are going to be at the same level as your clients. So if you're working with cash rich clients, you're going to be cash rich. All right. So avoid clients that are frugal and don't have any cash. Okay. The only exception that I will say for this, okay, the only exception is if your agency works with clients who are maybe struggling with their revenue and you specialize in proven systems to get them out of that situation. Okay. Maybe you work with startups, right? They're not maybe making a ton of revenue. Maybe that's what you specialize in. That is the only exception, but you must specialize in that area. If you don't specialize in that area, like if your offer doesn't include, like we work with cash poor businesses and startups, you don't specialize in it. Avoid these leads. Okay, just avoid them completely. All right. Secondly, is they have a business that you actually believe in. All right. So you should work with clients whose products add value to the marketplace. They may not add value to you, but they add value to an audience, to a demographic in the marketplace that you can very easily find. Okay. They have social proof behind what they do. All right. So this would fall into the place of, excuse me, This would fall into the place of, seeing that they have Trustpilot reviews, maybe they have reviews on Google, they have tons of reviews on their website, on their products. It doesn't matter. If you just kind of research their brand and you see that maybe they have like even articles written about them and there's good social proof and they have a good sort of, a good amount of attention that's in a positive light, that's how you know that the social proof is there. And then obviously they've had to like work hard to, earn that social proof. Okay. So those are the things that you should look for in terms of social proof. Now, the other thing is making sure that they are a good culture fit. Okay. So the best way to identify if someone will be a good culture fit as a client is to ask yourself if you would get a drink with this person. Okay. If you wouldn't enjoy a beer or a glass of wine with that person, chances are they aren't the right client for you. Just because a brand is doing well with their business and they're crushing it does not mean that the brand is a good fit. Okay. Culture is absolutely everything. I can speak from experience, guys. We've brought on massive whale clients, even clients that at the time I was like, oh my God, like this is a whale client. Like I can't turn away this retainer and performance fee. Like this is amazing, right? Like clients that are like easily worth 10K a month to you. Those clients even turned out to be some of the biggest nightmares that we have ever worked with. And I would trade that client for a client who's paying me $2,000 a month that respects me, respects my team, collaborates efficiently, communicates efficiently, and just gives us no headache. I would take 20 of those clients any single day rather than having 10 clients that are paying me 10K a month that just bust my balls all day. Like that's just the fact of the matter. The reason why a lot of you got into the agency space is to have financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. If you have clients that are constantly bombarding you and they're just treating you like shit, they expect you to be like, responding back to them like every single hour of the day that they message you, or they refuse to, align with your ways of messaging in Slack or in Discord or whatever it is that you use as an agency, and they request that they have your phone number, like huge red flags, massive red flags. Do not move forward with these people. They can go bust somebody else's balls, but they're not going to bust yours. Okay. Trust me. These are massive red flags. So you want to make sure that the culture fit is really, really good. And it's a massive pillar of what it is that you're looking for before partnering with a client. Okay. The other thing is they aren't high maintenance. Again, this kind of ties into like the good, having a good culture fit, but working with clients who suck the time and the energy away from you are just absolute headaches. Okay. They will lead into a massive dip in performance amongst your entire agency. One bad client will take the most time away from you and all your team members. And you'll start to see that because all of your time in your day, in your team members' day, is starting to go down because it's all this energy is going towards this shitty client. All your other clients are going to have to be put on the back burner. Like something's got to give. You know what I mean? Or you're just going to have to bring on new team members to manage the shitty clients that you have at your agency. The easy fix to this is just don't work with shitty clients. Okay. So you don't want to be working with high maintenance clients. I don't care what they're willing to pay you. Trust me, every agency owner I've ever met in person or online has all said the exact same thing. You do not want to work with clients that are willing to, pay you good things, but just are going to be a nightmare. Typically, and I will say this, typically, a lot of these clients who are your biggest headache clients are actually the lowest paying clients, okay? Very rarely do you have clients who are willing to pay you massive retainers and massive performance fees, and they're, excited to work with you, things like that, and are going to give you headaches. These people are actually typically like going to be like the least of your worries. Okay. I'm just basically using this as an example just so that you understand the mindset that it's like, it's not about the retainer. It's not about the performance fee. It's about like your well-being in this situation. Okay. But most of the time, the clients that are going to just like bust your balls, they're going to suck all the energy away from you. They're going to create the most headaches. Everything's going to be shit. Their pixel's going to be all messed up. Their billing info on their Facebook ads account's going to be garbage. Like it's just a mess. It's like everything that could go wrong goes wrong. Those clients are probably the clients that are paying you like $1,000 a month. Okay. There's no reason why you guys should be charging anything less than $1,500 a month for any agency service. I'm just going to tell you that straight up. Like if you were working in-house for these clients, minimum wage at $15 an hour in Canada, you'd be making at least $2,500 a month. Okay. So there's no reason why you should be charging anything less than that. All right. Now, what makes a good client? Okay. There's a difference between a client and a lead. All right. They understand boundaries. All right. They don't micromanage your team or you. They don't try to tell you how to do your job, and they aren't bombarding you in Slack or pushing to get your phone number. Okay. We recently just had a client actually who we signed on here in March. Right now I'm filming this. Right now it's April 2023. We just recently had a client that we signed on in March. Great client, was crushing it with their business, seemed awesome, seemed amazing. Tried basically, telling us how to do our job, even though in the first couple of weeks, we absolutely knocked it out of the park in terms of profitability for her, because we had to run a bunch of testing campaigns to make sure that there was proof of concept before we could scale. And she was trying to tell us to, scale and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And we basically just had to schedule in a meeting with her and let her know, listen, you've been burned by so many other agencies. We're different. We're actually getting you profitable results for in the first time in the last year. And you're still trying to tell us how to run your ads. Stop telling us to try to how to run your ads, when if you were really good at running your own ads, you could have just been running them yourself. I basically had to explain this to her and talk down to her like she was a child. And lo and behold, now it's it's April, and she hasn't given us any problems, and she's crushing it. And now she's sending us nothing but nice responses in Slack. Okay, so here's the thing: when you sign on a client, sometimes things will come up. You need to have the confidence in yourself and your service and just the respect. I would say even the respect for yourself and your team. If you're the leader of your business and your agency, you have to stand up for your team as well too. You have to have these tough conversations with clients sometimes, okay? So don't be afraid of those conversations. If things begin to come up and they start pushing their boundaries, or they start pushing their limits, say, hey, let's schedule a call and keep them in line, okay? Trust me, there's a ton of other clients. There's a ton of other people that want to that can work with you out there. You don't need to be, at the mercy of a person that's treating you like shit, okay? It's not what you want to do, all right? So they're respectful for you and your team. They communicate efficiently. Communication's big. Whenever you request something from them, they should be able to get it, get back to you within a reasonable time, right? I always like to tell clients, it's always ideal for you to check your Slack at least once a day, whether it's at the beginning of the day or the end of the day. It just always helps us. They get their tasks done on time. Of course, with every client that you work with, they're going to have tasks that you're going to assign to them, right? If you're a content creation agency, they're going to have to create the content. So you need to be able to make sure that they're getting these tasks done on time so that you can actually deliver your service. All right. Another thing is, they're innovative on the back end of their business. You can tell if someone is innovative if they're collaborating with you on ideas. Okay. So if maybe you're trying to reframe their offer and they're like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Right. They pay on time, all right? Their monthly retainers don't constantly bounce from their credit card. Their credit cards actually work. Your performance fees can be auto-billed and they actually go through. Sometimes, the exception to this is if you're trying to build a massive performance fee. Sometimes we've built performance fees that are closer to 10K and they just don't go through. They have to verify with their bank. That's totally fine. But you just want to make sure that these things aren't really a worry consistently, okay? Sometimes they happen, not a big deal. But if it's a month-to-month thing, just red flag. Okay. And lastly, they don't penny pinch and they can see the value in your service or future additional services. Okay. The two main components to keep in mind to sum all this up. All right. Is this business one that has potential to thrive for years to come? Okay. Work with thriving cash flow positive businesses. And is the owner of this business going to bust my balls or make it fun to collaborate? Okay. Avoid headache clients. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress this enough. The clients that you choose to work with are going to set the standard and set the tone for how you run and scale your agency. And your team members will look up to you to bring on good clients. If they see you bring on nothing but shitty clients that bust their balls and make their lives hell, what's going to keep them? What's keeping them at your agency? The money? It's definitely not the money, because they can just go somewhere else and probably make the exact same money at a different agency. So it's not going to be the money that's going to keep them around. It's going to be the peace of mind and their livelihood. Okay. So it's not just about you. It's about your team as well too. You want your team to respect you. And if you really want your team to respect you, you're going to bring on good clients, because it's going to make all of your guys' lives easier. Everyone's going to get paid well. You're going to crush it for clients. Team energy is going to be high because now you're getting good results for clients and your team feels good about themselves. If you're working with crappy clients that just they don't have an organic presence, they, struggle with Facebook ads, they struggle to make content, they struggle with all of these things that you need to actually deliver, it's going to be impossible to deliver good quality results. And that's going to lower your team energy. Okay. So keep that in mind. All right. So action steps for today: write down the types of clients that you want to attract. Be as specific as possible. Okay. I always tell people you should be writing down the way you want to be living your life, your goals for the next 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, even though it's super far ahead, get in the habit of writing these things down and be specific. Be as specific as possible, okay? Really do your best to describe who they are as people and how their business conducts themselves, okay? Analyze your current clients. Do a little bit of a checklist, right? Based off of this module, what clients are you working with are really good clients, and what clients are you working with maybe don't seem like the best clients that you want to be attracting into your business, okay? Maybe there's a few of you right now that need to let go of that annoying client that you're working with. It might be a good idea, although it sucks letting go of that like retainer, that performance fee. It's income for you. I get it, but I'm telling you right now, your livelihood it means the world of the difference. And plus, how do you expect to bring on better clients when you're still accepting to work with shitty clients? Okay, so analyze your current clients, do a little bit of a checklist, figure out what clients are good, what clients aren't so good, and if you need to have some conversations with them to steer them in the right direction to be a good client, or if you need to let them go. All right. And like I have mentioned down below here, so with analyzing your current clients, are they headaches or are they a blessing to work with? Are these clients that you have right now the kind that you want 20 of? That's a big thing. Okay. I always ask myself the rule of 20. Is the clients that I'm working with right now, could I have 20 of them? Right. And if I can ask that about a certain client and I would say yes, chances are they're a good client. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, go into the Discord. I highly encourage you guys to talk about your clients there. Sometimes, the Discord can act as a little bit of a place to vent a little bit and, kind of laugh things off. I know that sometimes that really helped me a lot is if we ever had a nightmare client we were working with or just a situation that was just super shitty for the agency, I would always lean on my brothers and sisters in the communities that I was a part of to, bring me some joy, bring me some happiness, and bring me some good laughs. Kind of let the bad times blow over and approach things from a different mindset and state, emotional state, you could say. Okay. So if you're having some current issues, drop them in the Discord. I'm sure the community will be able to help. Me and my team are happy to help as always. Okay. Hope you guys enjoy this module and we'll see you guys in the next one.